Everything you see here is strictly informational. Forex is a high-risk business. Please do not place trades with more money than what you don't have. Please do not trade other people's money. Do not borrow any money than what you cannot trade with. And please take everything that I say as a personal opinion. I am not considered a financial advisor. I'm not considered a broker. I am just one here simply recording my journey along learning the markets.
Oh man, how's it going? This is Ted with Bodies and Wicks. Bodies and Wicks, Bodies and Wicks. If you haven't seen my channel before, know what I do. What I do is I am a trader in the Forex market. I use MetaTrader 4. I do market analysis on Forex pairs, crypto, indices, things of that nature. I try to apply as much smart money logic to it as I can. And also a little bit of retail trading as well. If you don't know what these terms mean, I suggest digging a little bit deeper before following along. Or not, or you can just go along. Basically what I do is I just kind of analyze the market, and I can kind of tell you what I did, for my day, and we can see what's probably going to happen in the future. The funny thing is I actually made a video last night. It was late, and I wanted to try to get it out, and before the market started getting going, and it was like around midnight or so, and I got done with it, and for some reason the sound just did not work, and I didn't know why, and I had to redo, I don't know, I redid everything as far as the sound is concerned, made sure the mic was hooked up and all the inputs were done correctly. So hopefully this time it's gonna work out. If you liked what you see, there is a subscribe button. You can go ahead and hit it. It's pretty cool. That way it'll let you know that I'm getting new stuff out there. If you subscribe to me, hit the alerts bell, hit the like. The likes mean more than anything, actually. So if you can, hit that like button. We're gonna do some charts today on some Forex. Probably not some crypto. Maybe I'll do that in a different video. But I'll go ahead and get started on the charts today, and we'll see what's going on with what happened today. Today was a big day as far as the FOMC was concerned, and we'll see what that's going to lead into tomorrow. Alright, so let's go ahead and take over to look at the charts here. Alright, so this is the dollar. First, let's look at what kind of information that we had today. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this, because I don't think I've refreshed it since I got home from work. So in the middle of the night, we had some decent stuff in the Great British Pound. We had some really, really good news for the euro. Right, so their trade balance was a lot better than forecasted, so economy's doing good. Canadian stuff, not so much, mediocre. They had one good thing. The dollar, not too good, which is what I kind of expected. And then a little bit later, we had we had some better news with the dollar. Around 9, and then around 1 is when the crap hit the fan, is what people like to say. That's when the crap really hit the fan. And then looks like we had some other news around 3 o'clock I didn't even know about. TIC long-term purchases. I don't even know what that means. Here, let's take a look at it and find out. Why not? TIC long-term purchases, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Difference in value long-term versus U.S. citizen in U.S. long-term securities purchases by foreigners during a reported period. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, it looks like we didn't do too good in that department. Looks like we were only 10.8 billion, and we were expected to be at 109 billion. Is that what that is? It's quite a huge difference. It's a difference by value between foreign long-term securities purchased by U.S. citizens and U.S. long-term securities purchased by foreigners during a reported period. So, Americans are not purchasing securities, basically. That's what that means. Huh. That's not good. That can't be good for the U.S. dollar in the long run. So that gives us an idea of what's going to happen in the future. Also, looks like we just had some news from New Zealand. New Zealand GDP. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the New Zealand and the dollar right now. See what's going on with the New Zealand dollar. GDP, it looks like it was up 12.2%, right? So if we go back to the New Zealand dollar, it looks like it may have been going down at one point, and now it probably is going back up. I have it on an 8-hour, so we can zoom this in on a 1 hour and see how it's going. And it looks like if so let's see what that number is at entrance. 67105 is what I had as the entrance. 67105. Just barely miss it. I was wondering, so I was like, why am I not in this? So I might as well jump in then, huh? Because I think that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was hoping for anyway. We're seeing it fall a little bit though. I might wait a little bit. I might actually put in that 671. Let's go with 115. Because I saw what happened with oh wait, it just oh oops. I accidentally just hit buy on an accident. Sorry you guys. But I put the stop loss at 67115. That's not what I meant to do. But it looks like I'm already in this trade, which I'm fine with. I'll put the stop loss down here where I originally had it at 66526. And now my new entrance is 67302. So that's about what, 20 pips more, to 15 pips more than I wanted to be. Oh well. Besides, I barely missed it anyway. But anyways, we'll get to New Zealand dollar in just a second. But I honestly forgot that we had the news about the New Zealand dollar, and I was gonna go over what I expect, to see what happened with the NZD USD. But we will go over that. Don't worry. What else do we have in the news today? It looks like we are coming up on some Australian stuff, some employment change and unemployment rate. I would say that's going to be bad, so I'm probably going to start placing some trades against the Australian dollar. That's what I would probably be doing right now, if I had my druthers. And NZD/USD is actually not doing too bad. It actually was probably a pretty good entrance. All right. Well, I could have had a better one, that's for sure, but barely missed my entrance. So, and then tomorrow, let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow and see what could be happening tomorrow. So tomorrow, early in the morning, 6 a.m. is when we have most of the stuff going on. First, we have the trade balance at 1 o'clock from the Swiss franc. So that'll be something to see from Swiss. That's actually, I don't think that should be a regular folder. Trade balances are actually, some pretty good information. Here we go. Italian trade balance, probably not too much effect on the euro though. Consumer price index year over year, and then the core. Those are actually pretty. I would say those would be more on the orange side. Japan has a press conference, in the middle of the night for them? Or is that? Yeah, that'd be really, really late for them. And then 6 a.m. looks like where most of the trading's going to be coming. Looks like we have MPC official bank rate votes. Wow, monetary policy summary. Official bank rate. So it looks like this. I think this is the Brexit stuff that's going to be happening, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. I did hear something about Brexit this week. Is that what's going on? Should I do a quick search here, really quick? Let's see here, Brexit news. PM compromise with Tory over internal market bill. If we could head off the potential rebellion over issue next week. When was this put out? An hour ago. Okay, so labor was of course experienced in your government. Stood down. Okay, resignation told to do. Attended back down officer resigns over Brexit bill. Screw him. How could the Northern Ireland Brexit deal change? Okay, so anyways, I would say go ahead and check out on your own. I don't want to get too much into Brexit, but it looks like that's probably what's going to be happening tomorrow. Some policy change on that. 7:30 looks like we have some stuff from the U.S. Building permits, I'd say, and housing starts. That's actually some pretty good information. ADP non-farm employment change. That's going to be huge from CAD. So UCAD could be a good one. We'll go over UCAD in just a second because UCAD is definitely on the radar. So, and plus I'll go over what I had said last night, and some of it came true, and I'm actually pretty mad that I didn't get this out. And some of it came too true, and because I didn't wake up early enough to get started, because I stayed up so late, and I set my alarm, and my alarm didn't go off. And well, it did go off, but it wasn't making any noise. So anyways, let's start with the dollar, right? So if we take a look at the dollar here, what we have is we actually have an ascending channel now. That's what I'm looking at here. I started looking at it, and I wasn't looking at it as a down channel anymore. I was looking at it as an ascending channel. So that is the good news. The bad news is that we still cannot break these. If we go to like a daily, we still cannot break like these daily closes. Well, we did, we got one, and that was last week. So here's the due day. It's Tuesday. September 14th, and so that's Friday. So this was last week. We started to come down, and somehow we're slowly picking it back up. I mean, we're really not picking it back up. We have 2 indecision candles that's happening, but we definitely had an indecision candle for today. So what does that mean? It could go either direction. We could go down, we could go up. As far as what the US dollar is concerned, from the way some things sound to me, it looks like we're not looking at good news for the dollar. FOMC kind of made things go crazy, but we'll see what happens with the other news as well. Let me take a look at one thing. Alright, so first I want to get into UCAD. So this is what I had drawn up last night, right, for UCAD. And I had drawn this up, and I saw this is the level that was kind of being the resistance. So that's why I drew this box here. What had happened with UCAD, right, is that I never want to try to place my bet at the if everybody was trying to place the bet at the bottom of every time that it came down, everybody would have been losing money. So what I did is you got to let it break, right? You got to let it break this. And if you haven't been following, this orange line right here is the multi-month, I guess you could say, trend line. So if we go to the daily, right, this golden line down here, this has been going back since March 23rd, right? So that's been going back since March 23rd. So that was Brexit, all the Brexit stuff, right? So Brexit shot UCAD all the way up. Now it's come all the way back down, right? So now if we take a closer look at what's going on, right? So we finally hit the bottom, is what we have been expecting for quite some time. Get rid of that. Finally hit the bottom. Now that the US dollar kind of changed and turned, it went a different direction, right? We finally broke across that trend line, right? So we had a break of structure. Not only did we have a break of structure, but we also had a new high, right? So at a break of structure, we had a new high. This is good news, right? So this is total breakout mode, right? So now what's it gonna do? Comes down here to the low. What I wanted it to, right, is breakout of it did kind of form this another little trend. It did break out from that trend. Once it broke out from that trend, this is the perfect swing trade setup move right here, and we're watching it right now. Now the thing is that I have it, I have it coming all the way down first, right, coming all the way down this trend line, getting in, right, and then taking it long. Instead, what my dumbass did is I actually jumped in early because I saw it was getting close, and plus with FOMC, it came in, it dipped in, it came back out. I was like, yes, this is perfect. And then it turned around and went right back down and right through my stop loss, and it just took me right out. And I was so mad because I was up, like, I forgot how many pips I had, what was 20, 30, something like that. Yeah, it was definitely 30 pips. And I was just like, I was super stoked, and I was like, yes, I was like, this is awesome. And then it just, I didn't even see it. It was like 1 second, like all of a sudden it was gone, right? And it took a minute because if you actually take a look at this here, let's see. Well, we're in the 15-minute, so if we actually take a look at this. See, it bounced in, came out, bounced in, came back out, right? And that's when I was like getting super excited. And then, well, that wasn't the 30 pips. I was probably somewhere more like around 15 or something like that. And then next thing I know, I'm doing something at work, and it just boom, just went right through. And I was like, and I come turn around, and I'm not even in the trade anymore. And I'm like, what the hell? And then it's, 20, 30 pips up, but, a couple minutes later, and it's just like, oh shit, like this is ridiculous. So I'm going back to my original plan, right? I'm going to wait for this to slide down. Right, wait for this to slide down, and then I'm going to get in. And I'm actually probably going to set a little bit more of a stop loss, just so it doesn't, target me out like it did the last time. It must have known that we were just sitting there with our stop losses on that, right? And the banks just said, boop, we're just going to go right through and take everybody's money. And they did. And then they took my money, and they probably took everybody else's money that was just sitting on that line, being like, nope, it's not going to go past here. All of us dumbass retail traders, You got to think like a bank, guys. Got to think like a bank. So, that being said, this is going to be your perfect swing move or swing trade move. We've already broken structure, right? We've gotten the new high, right? Now we've just got that little 15-minute, we got to find that perfect 15-minute entry. I believe it's going to be right here, right? Once we get that, take this, put a big lot size on it. Don't let it go until it's after about 600-700 pips, because that's the next time we're gonna see it. It's gonna go flying. And it's not gonna go flying fast, but it's gonna take off, and you're gonna hope and you're gonna pray that you have a lot of pips in there, or a lot of lot sizes in there, where you can take profits along the way, and also so you can find new entries. And while you're finding new entries, you still have hold of your main position. That way, in case something goes bad, you still have that main position that you have a hold of. So make sure you always have your main position, right? Make sure you're moving your stop loss, right? At least to break even. Once you get about 30-40 pips, and then once it goes up and then, does a good pullback and then starts going up again, you can move it up, move your stop loss up to a good comfortable point that you want, and then just keep paying attention to it, and that way, in case it does eventually go, if it does go against you, again, think like a bank too, look around for liquidity. Make sure that you're not going to be around any kind of, you're going to stay below liquidity. That way the bank isn't going to try to, take you out on like a wick or something like that. So be careful of all those things. But this is the perfect swing trade setup for UCAD, and we are almost there. And it is coming tonight for sure. If not tomorrow morning, I think probably more like tomorrow morning is when we're going to see this. And I think we're going to see it tomorrow morning, because we're going to have that ADP non-farm, employment payroll change for the CAD. It's going to be some bad news. I think whatever happens with the U.S. is going to be good news, because we had bad news this morning, but yet we still had, we still are. I mean, for some reason we still went up. We still had a green candle. I don't get it. It was weird. It was really weird. Here, let me see. Let's just get down to the hour and look at 7 o'clock this morning. Yeah, there you go. There's the news broke right through here. And you know what the news was for today? For us, red stuff. We had red stuff. It wasn't, I guess it wasn't as bad as it could be. I guess maybe that's what they were thinking. I don't know. We had red, but somehow that red, somehow it made our currency stronger. I don't get it, but whatever. Because I was thinking I was gonna, it's probably a good thing I wasn't up early, because if I would have saw that, I would have been like, sell against the dollar, and I would probably have lost money. So it was probably a good thing I didn't wake up early for that. But this I screwed up on. But I'm going back to my original plan. I'm waiting on this to get set up. Otherwise, I'd probably still. Well, actually, let me see here. No, I got an NZD USD. That's what I just got into. I was like, wait, am I in UCAD? I'm like, no, I'm not. Now, this is funny because this is what I had set up last night. Right, so this is last night at just before midnight, right? So this is midnight last night, right? September 16th, midnight. So this is like right when I was making the video. It was right here at this this last green candle here. And I was looking at this and I said, you know what? I said this. And my prediction before, I think if you watched my video a couple days ago, whenever this was coming down here, I said this is going to come up. I said it's probably going to come up about halfway through. It's going to touch probably, wherever this wick comes down, right? And then I think it's going to turn around and come down this way and then take out this liquidity, because there's a lot of liquidity down here. You can see it. But instead it came back up, it touched it again. So then I sit there and thought about it, and while it was sitting right here, I said, you know what, it's close enough to, it's made liquidity right here, it's going to take this liquidity out. And you know what, I didn't buy GBP USD, and I wish I would have, because guess what it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. I mean, that's my drawing from last night without this green candle. So if so this is me making the video last night, and I'm saying, hey, this is where the liquidity is. What you should probably do is that you should probably go ahead and buy another British pound, because it's going to take out that liquidity above. And then that happens, and then you actually don't take your own damn advice. You want to smack yourself in the head. And that's what I want to do right now, because I didn't even, because I thought that was going to happen this morning. I thought I was going to be able to wake up and do it. And it happened at midnight. Like, even while I was like still trying to fix this stuff, is when it happened. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so what is GBP going to do now is the question. So now we've created another level of liquidity, right? So now you have a little bit of liquidity here, and you have liquidity here. What I think could happen, especially since the bad news with the dollar, or the dollar could continue to go down. But then again, the pound isn't doing too good either. We have all this red stuff with Brexit, right? All this news with Brexit. I would expect to see the pound take a big dive tomorrow, right? To be honest, I think it's going to pull up first. So what I think it's probably going to do is it's probably going to pull back, right? And I think it's going to take out this liquidity, right? And then come down, right? And then take out this liquidity down here. That's what I think is going to happen, right? So that's me personally. If I were to put my money on it, that's what I think is going to happen. Probably something like this, right? Actually, probably something even more like this. Well, I don't know, because that's a lot of pips. Let me see how many pips that is from here to here. Yeah, you're talking about 100 pips tonight. just to get just to go, just to clear that liquidity out. I don't think that's going to happen. That's a lot of orders, for banks to do. So instead, I think we will see a little bit of a pullback, right? I think we'll probably see a little bit of a pullback, and it'll probably actually give us a double top. I think it's gonna give us a double top, and then go down. Why do I have this blue line drawn here? This is actually a very, very elongated, I want to say, trend line from somewhere. It's a trend line from something. Yeah. So from this high to this point, I don't even know. It could represent something. Who knows? It could stop there. But if we're going to talk about GBP USD, this is what I think is going to happen. I look for liquidity, right? And I think about what banks are going to do. I think about where people's stop losses are, where they're where they're most likely to market execute. And it's going to be, it may have already happened. It may have already gotten to that place because people may have thought it was going to pull up a little bit higher before it started selling. Now it's just going to sell, and it could do one of these things where it just kind of bounces around for a little bit before it just slowly goes down. But my bet, is that GBP is definitely going to be going down. You could see some buys out of it beforehand, but I think tomorrow morning definitely. I would say early in the morning, because generally that's what happens about an hour before you get the news about what's going on. So all the stuff that's going on with the pound. Oh yeah, that's today. So tomorrow 6 a.m. So I would say 4 a.m. is when you're going to start seeing the pound start taking a dive. Just because in case some of this stuff, or it could rise. That honestly, that's another thing. You could start seeing going up around 4 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock is when it takes a huge blow, because banks are going to try to get into one of the best positions that they can be in, so that when the bad news hits and all the traders also sell along with them, they're also making money, but. And the retail traders are going to try to sell anyway because they think the pound's going to go down. So they're going to be selling the entire time. So I honestly think it's going to go up probably from about 4 to about 5 or so, 5:30. And at that point, it's going to start going down, or maybe right at 6, it's going to go down. So be careful of that, because that's what banks will do. Banks will buy in the opposite direction, and then once the news hits, they'll go. They want to be in the best position that they can to make the most money that they can, and they also know that you're going to try to buy or to sell because of the bad news that's going to be coming. So they're going to be buying because there has to be a seller. So that's my 2 cents on that. NZD USD. Yesterday it had hit this here and made a double top. So my thoughts were it was going to go up. I thought it was going to go up higher than this, honestly. And then I thought it was going to probably take out this liquidity up here and then come back down. And then that's when we'd have the GDP news, and then we would go up from there. So that was what my thoughts were, and this is still my drawing from yesterday. So I thought yesterday it was gonna go up, take out all this liquidity, come back down. We get the GDP news about New Zealand, all right, and then go back up, right? So it kind of happened, but it didn't go up as high as I thought it would, right? It just kind of went a little bit up, and then now it came back down. So, and we'll see what's going to happen with New Zealand versus the dollar now. But New Zealand just got good news on its GDP, so that's good. It just depends on how it's going to fare against the dollar. And again, I don't think the dollar's doing so hot. Let me again take a look at it. Like I said, it is in an ascending channel, so that is good news. So, but there are periods to where it does buckle down and take a dive. So we'll see. Next, Euro USD. Wow, this was an interesting one. So this is my drawing from last night still. And let me see here. What was last night? Where am I at? I'm on the 1 hour. So let's go to last night whenever I made this. Probably somewhere, around here. Definitely, well, it's at where the buy box is, or the box of what's happening. I don't even know what to call this. What is this box called? Long position. The long position box. We'll just call it that. Right. So the long position box. That's exactly where I started last night. So it looks like it was around 10 o'clock. So this is where I started last night. I said what I thought was going to happen yesterday is that it was going to come up, take out. I thought I was going to take out even more liquidity. I thought it was going to go higher, right, and take out more liquidity because I think the euro is a kill on the dollar, right? So I thought the euro was going to come up a lot higher, probably touch somewhere up in here. There's got to be some kind of institutional candle in here, a buy to sell candle in here that it's going to hit, and as soon as it hits it, it's going to turn right back down. So I think the institutions are still holding some kind of sell position in here, or not sell position, buy position in here. Right, so they're in drawdown, right? So they're in drawdown. They have to get back up to this, to get rid of that. Or I could be completely wrong, because if we go to the 4 hour, right, and we actually take a look at this, this thing is solid. Candles are like perfect size on each side. So it's like it came up, right, came up over to the sell, right, and then came over and then bought for 4 hours, and then while it was buying, right, it could have been getting buying and buying and buying and buying. And then as this part right here happened and it was selling, it could have been getting rid of its positions the entire way down. It could have been, so now that I have that theory, let's take an even closer look at it. And let's see what actually happens inside this 4 hour box. So, all right, looks like we go to sell, right? Then we go to buy, go to sell. Looks like there's like a lot of mitigation already happening. All right, so boom, because it looks like they could be holding a sell in this candle here, right? Because boom, you have once you had they push it a little bit down so they can get a better position. So boom, they got a better position. They jumped up out of there. So, and then They got everybody to push it down just enough to let go of that position. So that one's already been mitigated, right? So we got that candle already mitigated. Boom, it goes up. Let's see if we can find another candle to where it's a buy or a sell to buy. Here we go, sell to buy. But it's gonna be the last buy candle usually, right? So if this is the last buy candle, could this candle have been mitigated? And the answer is yes, because there's a wick right here. So as they buy in this candle, right, and they put their buy in, they put their last buy in here. As this candle is making its formation, they could be getting rid of all their buy positions on its way down while they're selling. Right? Boom, here's another buy to sell. Okay. So here's one to pay attention to, because this one hasn't been mitigated yet. And they could have bought right here. Right? So I'm going to get rid of I think I'm going to get rid of this box. This whole box is, I don't think they are holding any more sell positions in here. I think it's right here. Or right here. Right, so the institutions could be holding a buy position still, and they still could be in drawdown, right? So to get rid of that position that they're in drawdown, they have to get back to this position. Now the only thing about this is that if they were in this position, right, and this was the buy, guess what? Boom. They already mitigated that one too. So they've already bought to mitigate that. Right, so that means this candle could actually be the candle. But as you're coming down, but the thing is that if this is the candle that gets you the better position to sell, the red candle will usually be bigger than the green candle if that's the case. Whichever candle they use to if this is a buy to sell, the sell candle is usually bigger, just because they'll put more orders into that sell. That way they can make more money. But they could have done it slowly. They could have let the retail traders buy against them. Right? That way they could have put more orders in and then slowly got out of there, and they could have got rid of their positions the entire time they were going down. So the institutional candle thing could be completely out of the question right now with Euro USD, and that's one thing I've been trying to find out. I've been trying to figure out when, if it does, come up out of here and come to this high, where is the institutional candle it's going to hit? Question is, I don't know, because I can't find one that's the exact one that I want. All right, so let's go back to the hour. All right, so now what we have that's going on. For some reason, we had the euro fall today, or since last night, or this morning, which was interesting. Because I think I bought. I want to say I bought early in the morning but whenever I bought, it was slowly coming up, and then it was probably about 20 pips down, and then it completely turned around. Where's a big wick? I'm gonna get rid of this because this didn't happen, right? There it was. There's that wick that happened. This is the wick that saved me. It was this wick right here, because I had probably bought somewhere in this wick here, right? And it came up, and I thought I was gonna, do great. And then FOMC happened, and when FOMC happened, this shot up. When this shot, I actually added another order at the very bottom of this. So I had two orders. I had one order here and one order here, both buys. And luckily, I got this one in the positive, and this one was a really, really good one. I want to say it was somewhere around 40 pips. Yeah. Over 40 pips. Well, for me it was around 40 pips, I know that. But the candle itself looks like it was about 65. Wow, that's awesome. But for me, I know I got 40 pips out of one, I got 20 pips out of the other. I was good. And then I let go because I'd seen it pull back, and I was like, yeah, that's part FOMC. It goes one way, and then it goes one way, it goes the other. And that's what happened with me. So when that happened, what it did is it did what I thought it was going to do, and take out the liquidity below it. So I drew these lines here to represent the liquidity. So this is where, see, September 16th, here's the 15th. So right around here is where I made the video yesterday, right? And I thought I actually bought early last night, and I made a little bit of money on this going up. And then I think I sold before I went to bed, which was like 3 or 4 in the morning, which, yeah, right around here, just because I don't like holding things when I go to bed. And but I thought I was going to keep going and take out the rest of it. But then, I woke up to it falling, I woke up late and got the news, and I saw the news went the opposite of what I did. But either way, here's liquidity, right? It took out the liquidity that I thought it would, and then it also took out the second layer of liquidity. So everybody had their buy orders like sitting in here, with their stop losses probably sitting down here, right? So it took out those buy orders, took out those stop losses, took out those buy orders, took out those stop losses. So this is all institutions taking everybody's money, because they know that everybody has their buy order setting right here. So they're not going to go right to that place and turn around and buy again, right? They may do it once, and that's what they do. That's why they let it do that, so they can let you think that it's going to happen again, and that way they go right through it the next time, right? So, and people go, oh, this is just the news. This was just FOMC, and that's why it was crazy. No, this was going to happen anyway. This was definitely going to happen anyway. So don't think that this is anything special. It got really dark in here. I didn't even realize it was dark. Let me turn on some lights, guys. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, 48 minutes of me rambling, and you guys haven't learned anything yet. Okay, so now what is XAUUSD going to do next? Well, now that it's taken out this liquidity and this liquidity, now we have to see where liquidity it's going to go for next. Now, question is the euro... From my understanding is that the euro wants to stay in between 1.8 and 2, so I think it's going to turn around and buy right? I don't think there is a lot of liquidity here. I marked it. There's another level of liquidity down here. Right, you got these equal double bottoms, so there's a lot of liquidity sitting down here. Thank you for letting me know. Dash just crossed the Bollinger Band. So, like I said, so it took out this liquidity. Now that it took out this liquidity, I think what's going to do is that it's going to turn around. It's going to bounce back. I think it's going to take out this liquidity. I think it's going to hit this orange line. I really do. I think it's going to hit this orange line. So let me get rid of these. And now what I think we're going to see from the euro. Right. It's already right down here. Probably going to see a little bit more of a dip. And it's probably going to create some liquidity, and it's probably going to come down and take out that liquidity, and then take out this liquidity up and continue on, take out this liquidity out up here. I think the euro is going to buy tomorrow. I don't think, because I think that from the FOMC, people are going to start digesting it today. They're going to see it as a bad thing. They're going to see the dollar go down a little bit. You're going to see the euro get a little bit better. So this is what I think is going to happen. I'm going to leave this here and see what does happen. So if I were a betting person, I would go long, and I would probably go long somewhere, see where the low it is that it's at now. I don't think it's going to get to that low again. It's going to be somewhere around here. Didn't mean to do that. Somewhere around 794. So I think that's what's going to happen. Not too far away. I might buy soon. I don't know. But I definitely think it's going to turn around and go the opposite direction. And that's what's going to happen with the euro. The yen exactly happened. The yen is what I thought was going to happen. Last night when I made the video, again, it was somewhere, as you can see, September 15th. I have it on the 45-minute for a reason, right? So I made the video last night, probably somewhere around here. 1 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock in the morning. Here's 10:30. So it was somewhere around here is where I made the video, right? So it's if we do a replay, and we just go to that line, right? You don't even see any of that. So you look to the left, right, and you see these two lines here, and I say it's going to buy right at these lines, right, is because if you take a really, really, really close look, Jesus Christ, Bitcoin is falling evidently. Here, let's take a look at this and see what's going on. BTC USD. Okay, so the reason I probably got this alert is on my 5 minutes. I have alerts when it crosses the 30. It did. I wonder if this is a place to buy, or if this is one of the places Bitcoin is just going to start dropping, right? Unless I think about crypto. Crypto's so crazy. It's not like Forex at all. You know, once you get to a place to where you think it's going to kind of turn around, crypto does the opposite. It just drills right through you. So you're like, oh, cool, it's really, really low. I should buy. And as soon as you buy it, just boom. goes right against you. But let's see if it's at some kind of resistance point. It kind of is. Because you got a touch here, you got a little bit of a touch here, you got a little bit over here. That's just the 5 minute. Let's go with the 4 hour and let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's definitely, I would say that would be support, you know, with all those. So I think what it did is it reached above support. Now it's hitting support. This could be a good time to buy. This could be a good time to buy Bitcoin, people. I might do it. Why not? What would I got to lose except for a couple bucks, right? I'm only going to throw a 0.01 in just because I really don't know what's going to happen. The only thing about Bitcoin is that you start off, 20 pips in the fucking hole. Yeah, sorry, 20 pips in the effing hole. And I don't even know how to read pips half the time for... I think right around here would be a good spot to stop. 10, 8, 9, 3. Oh, man, I didn't see that. The only thing is, why is my 200 not in here? I hate the fact that every time I do this, I know I have a 200 moving average. It never shows up. Ever. I feel like I have to put it in every time and save it every time, and it still never fucking shows up. Pisses me off. Dash is doing some stuff too, but I'm not too worried about Dash. I'm worried about Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't moved much. We'll find out if it's gonna drop and take me out, or if it's gonna do something else. But I think it's on a resistance line or a support line. I mean, I think it got above support. I think that's what, you can kind of see it touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here. Gets above it, gets back down below it, touches here, finally gets above it. I think this is support. I think this is a good call. This is a good call. We'll see though. Anyways, back to so the reason why I have these two lines drawn for USD JPY, because if you look really, really closely in you find this candle, right? It's a solid sell to buy candle. I mean, a solid sell to buy candle. This is definitely an institutional candle. And yesterday, the day before, Japan announced that its trade balance was like 750,000%, like more than what it was supposed to be. So now that we're done with the 45-minute chart here, let's just go to the 2 hours so I can show it to you a little bit easier. You have these imbalances, right, that need to be filled, right? And so there's all this buying pressure. So you had this candle that was sell, right? It sold, and then it bought, right? So that was the institutional candle. When it did that, it just took off. It has these imbalances here, which means it didn't have any selling pressure, which means it needed to buy through it. And the whole time, right? So some of the imbalances did get taken out, but the whole time you're coming down and you're hitting this area, and you're creating all this liquidity, right? And so I said, well, what's going to happen is that you're going what I said was going to happen is that you're probably going to see a pullback, right? The price is going to take all day. You're going to get all the way down. And then the Japanese news tonight, which we have some Japanese news tonight. What is it? Monetary policy statement. So we still have some Japanese news tonight. And so I said it was going to sell, right? And then once it sold, it was going to go all the way down to this yellow line. And then it was going to buy probably at that monetary policy statement. So let's just go ahead and hit play. What did it do? It did exactly what I thought it would. Pulled back almost to exactly where I thought it would. Came down almost to exactly where I thought it would. But I still think it's going to pull back yet, because it didn't hit the candle. It didn't hit the candle, so it hasn't mitigated. It may have, I don't know. They may have let go of their position with a little bit of a loss. I don't know, but I think it still could come down and hit this candle before it finally takes off. But it did pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to do, right? So, and me, not, I mean, I honestly, I sold, I did sell the USD JPY for most of the day. Yeah, that was, it sold in the morning, or it sold overnight, and, I started selling this morning, probably or sometime around 8 or so. And it was probably right when it got done selling, so it started moving back up, unfortunately. But then the FOMC came, and then when the FOMC came, I sold again on the Japanese yen, so I had 2 positions. Here, let's get in on this hour and find out when this happened. So the first time I sold was to do, I don't know, something like around here or something like that. And then the second time I sold was probably right around in here. So I kind of did the same thing I did with the euro. So I think I got about 20 pips on one, about 10 pips on the other. Not too bad. What's going to happen now? Well, I'm still waiting on this to come down and hit this yellow line, right, for that institutional candle, that sell to buy candle, and then continue upwards. That's what I'm waiting for, right? Because if we go to, let's just go to a 4-hour situation, right? And now we're looking at this right here. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. I accidentally hid that from myself. So if it doesn't jump back from this, which that's actually the U.S. buying, but the only reason it's going to buy is not because of the currency, is because it's just because that's where the last sell position is from these institutions. So they're just going to buy it. It probably could be just a short buy. It could be a 30 pip buy. Like what I have here. It could be a really short buy. It doesn't have to be something that's going to be extravagant. But I do think as soon as it hits this line, it is going to turn around and buy. And then what's going to happen after that is it's going to turn around and again, the dollar not doing too well. Come up, buy 30 pips. Boom. We're going to come on back down, and we are going to take out this low now. That's the last low we got to take out. So that's what I think is going to happen. We're going to hit this buy, right? Come back up, and then come back down, hit that low. Swiss franc did almost exactly what I thought it was going to do as well, except for I didn't give it enough room. Let me see what's going on here. Went up a little bit on Bitcoin. Not too much. I'm not 20 pips below anymore. Or 22 pips below anymore. I'm only 17. So what I thought was going to happen in here is where I made the video again last night. We just draw a vertical line. I thought the franc would pull back a little bit, right? And then it would buy, and then it would aim for this liquidity, right? Take out this liquidity, and then it would sell. Holy shit. I can't believe how closer to the truth I couldn't been, except for instead what it did is it was actually smarter. It came down and created another spot of liquidity. Damn, was Euro Chef smart, or sorry, the U Chef smart. So it came down and created more liquidity. So now you got another spot that people are going to be like, yes, buy limits, buy limits, buy limits, buy limits. There's going to be so many buy limits set through here. It's going to be insane. Institutions are going to buy right through those. So if I would have actually said, you know what, I didn't even think it would pull back that far. As you can see, I just thought it was because it was already up here. Last night it had created this double top. So I thought I'd pull back a little bit, take out the double top, right, and then take out even more liquidity, and then come down and then take out the bottom liquidity. So it is in the process. Well, actually, it's actually taking out more of the liquidity right now. Interesting. Okay. So it just took out. So people probably doing their buy limits right here, right? Move over a little bit. People have set their buy limits right here. Boom, Euro Chef. Guess what? Going right through those. Let's actually move this back a little bit. Good thing I haven't entered into this yet because I haven't looked at it. But I would say you could probably, I wouldn't say enter in just yet. It's probably going to buy some more. Right here. Probably going to buy up to there. And then give it just a little bit over that, just because that's an area. It's an area of congestion, area of liquidity, I guess you could say. So if we bring this over, what it's going to do, it's going to create more liquidity. So It's going to break this. It's going to take out all this liquidity. It's going to stop here because that's going to create more liquidity. And then it's going to drop. And while it's dropping, it's probably going to create more liquidity doing something. Why does this keep going up? Create more liquidity and trying to figure out different ways to take it out. But it's doing what I thought. It's doing exactly what I thought, except for, it came down a little bit further. Came back right into the box that I said it would by taking out that liquidity. And you know what? Who knows? It probably could turn around any second. But I think the dollar is going to buy a little bit more into the franc. But then again, the weakness is going to come in for the dollar, and then it's going to fall. Right? So a lot of this, taking out liquidity and whatnot, is also coinciding perfectly with the strength of the dollar. Right. Last one I have, gold. So I called this on gold yesterday. I'll even show you. Let's go back to TradingView. If you don't follow me on TradingView, you should. I'm Tedzily. Here it is. Gold liquidity forming short around 1957.50-ish. Right? So that's what I said. Right? So I saw this liquidity forming. Right? And so what I thought was, everybody's thinking, yes, we're buying because it dropped so much. Everybody thought that they're going to be able to buy and then catch it going right back up the other way. That's how everybody thinks, right? So you got to think like a bank, right? So if everybody's sitting here buying, thinking, yes, I'm going to catch it way back up. I'm going to catch the next wave back up. They're gonna let you get a little bit of money, right, and be like, yes, it's getting back up, and then all of a sudden they're gonna turn it right back on and right back against you. So I said it was probably gonna sell somewhere around 1957.50-ish, which is also ended up being like this 0.618 area. Now if you hit play, watch what happens. Well, at least in this area, what happened was, I got there we go. One position for 40 pips, right? Kept holding, came back, got another position, 40 pips, right? Came back. I haven't got a third position, 30 pips, and then I think once I saw that it was buying and there was no selling pressure against it, I let it go right around, well, it was like right around here, wherever this high was, because once I saw it start to start buying, and I saw this last part, I forgot whatever you want to call it, this last candle, this last selling candle, that's about where I let go of the rest of it, and I just closed out my trade. And I thought, you know what, well, if it's buying, I might as well go and buy the other way. So I did. I put a buy in, I think it was 1957, and then got a really quick 20 pip scalp. I took out about half of what I had put in that, and then let it go. And then I think I didn't get too much for it there. Once it started pulling back on this one is when I think I got out. So I got out on this second pullback, and here, let me pull it over that way. There, that's probably about where I got out, because at that point I had made enough money, and it was also getting late, and I was about ready to make the video, and I didn't want to have to worry about while watching gold the entire time. So, because I saw the liquidity forming. Again, guys, follow the liquidity. It tells you everything. Liquidity tells you everything. I sat there and I saw this and I saw this and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "There's so much liquidity." I said it's going to be taken out, or it's not going to be taken as serious. But the thing is that if you actually held this, if you're one of the people that held this, you did good, right? Because then it eventually took off. I mean, it took hours and hours and hours, but I can guarantee you a lot of people got frustrated and either short sold or I don't know, they lost money or they did something, or maybe they bought more, right here, where they thought it was gonna explode or something like that, and then it went against them. Instead of just holding, an original position, and not expecting a pullback. Well, the pullback is what I expected, and that's what I banked on. I banked on that. And, hey, these people are thinking it's, they're going to make money off this. Banks are not going to let it happen. So banks came in, it just started taking them out, or at least, taking them the other way, fighting against them. And then eventually they finally got their way. And one of the reasons I kind of sit there and thought about that, and I realized it, and I said, why is it sitting here, doing this for so long? And I said, what is this? Because the banks want to get in a better position, so that way when they do buy, whenever they go short, they actually have a little bit more money. So whenever I saw this down here, these tweezer bottoms, didn't mean to do that. That's when I knew something was up. Right there. Whenever I saw those two candles, the down candle next to the up candle, I knew something was up. I was like, okay, that's positioning right there. That right there is some damn good positioning, because that's exactly what they did. And they positioned themselves to basically buy, to get to this point before they let go or sell, or they just held on to this position. Because as you can see, it didn't get below this position. So this was definitely an institutional candle right here. These candles right here, because they, it did not clear that low at all. So that tells me that this is an institutional candle. This is where their money is, not your money, right? Because it may have came down and spiked down here, but the bank said, nope, we're not letting you take us out, and they turned around and bought, and they went the other way. And then today was just insane. I think I don't even know what I did with gold. I just wasn't paying too much of attention to it as I was yesterday, just because I had a little bit more work to do. But I did scalp it a little bit. I got a couple 20-30 pips here and there. But now that I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm wondering what it's doing, I don't need that. I need this. Okay. So what has happened with gold? We have here, well, we had liquidity. It has been taken out. We have more liquidity down here. So and it is coming down. And it could be coming down to take out this liquidity. So my thing with gold is that it's eventually going to come down to about somewhere between 1924 and 1910. And that's where we're going to see the last low of gold before we finally see it, pop off and, never see, well, I wouldn't say never see any kind of bearish behavior, but that's going to be the last bearish behavior, or the lowest bearish behavior that we will see, somewhere between 1911 and 1924. But it does look like it has some liquidity above it as well. Let me get rid of some of these lines here because these are kind of annoying. But yeah, liquidity there. Looks like we have some liquidity here. It looks like it's trying to create liquidity. It looks like, I don't know, people are trying to sell or buy already. I think people are waiting. It's exactly what I think people are waiting for. I think people are waiting for it to come down here so that way they can buy. I think it's going to sell straight through. Or it's going to start buying now, right? And then it's going to take out this liquidity here. And then after it takes out this, oh look, there's a tier, some equal highs here. So you have these two equal highs. That's going to want to take out. So what it could do, right, straight through here, take out that liquidity, or it could go up, take out this liquidity, probably play around to create some more liquidity, and then I would think it would do is, as it was playing around, is jump down, take out that liquidity, and then come up and then take this liquidity, right? And then eventually come back down, maybe play around. And then what it likes to do is it likes to go up really quick and then go down really quick, right? So it likes to create liquidity and then go one way and then go the other. That is what gold likes to do, as you can see. So, you know, like right here, you know, it's just kind of building and building and building and going up. And then what does it do? Goes back against it, goes up, and then it goes up with it, goes back against it, then goes up. So as you're thinking you're going one direction, right? And you're thinking you're making money on gold, and you're like, oh man, I'm riding this gold train all the way to the top. You know, what it do is it goes against you, and then you go shit, and you start selling. Then boom, it starts buying again. Oh shit, you start buying again. Boom, and it starts selling again. Then you sell, then it starts buying again, and then by that time you're just like, screw this, I'm done with gold. You know, so. That's what you got to be careful with gold, is that it'll turn on you in an instant, and you gotta react to gold price. You can't predict gold price. You can only react to it. You got to find out where the liquidity is. You got to see how it creates liquidity and what it's going to do about it, because every time it creates liquidity, it takes it out. Like here, this isn't much liquidity, but this is liquidity is what it did here, right? So it came up, it did this, it came up, and then it dropped back down. Let me get it, zoom in a little closer, a little bit, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm sure you can't. You know, this is liquidity here, right? So it comes up, right, touches this, comes back down. And it comes up, and you think it's going to come back down, so people start selling. Nope, banks go, nope, boom, they buy. So, and that's just how gold works. Jeez, Dash. So that's all it does, is it'll create liquidity and then go against you. Boom, comes up, goes against you. So then you start selling, and as soon as you start selling, it buys. As soon as you start buys, it sells, right? And it just does that over and over and over again, right? You buy, and then all of a sudden, boom, it sells, right? And all of a sudden it buys, and then it sells. So gold just rides this weird train the entire time, and you have to be very, very careful with it. But once you understand how it works, then you can really kind of figure out where it's going to go next. And now that we have some liquidity areas, we know where it could possibly be going, right? So, and what I like to do is, I like to set I like to set tight stop losses for sure is what I like to do for gold. So if I was to like right now, if I was to buy, I probably wouldn't put a stop loss. I definitely, I wouldn't put a stop loss down here, because if that's the case, I should have bought, right? So and so instead, what I would do is I would put one almost to just maybe 10, 15 pips below it. And if it breaks it or something like that, then I know to sell instead, because then if I sell, it's going to break through this liquidity. So again, you have to know the behavior of gold, and that's why you set very, very short, stop losses. That way you can trade against it in such a way that you're doing it with the banks, and you're not doing it as a retail trader. You're not setting your buy limits here. You're going to sell through them. And I know people tell you, buy low and sell high. Yeah, to an extent that's true. But you also have to think like a bank. You have to think like, all right, especially, if the price starts struggling or something like that, I can see maybe jump out of the trade and then go for it. But even then, whenever I called that whatever it was yesterday, this right here, this took forever to develop, and I'm one of those people that I have these good ideas, but half the time I'll just put them on paper and I'll talk about them, but I won't put my money where my mouth is. But I actually put my money where my mouth was yesterday on this one, and I was happy that I did. And so that helped me gain confidence and believe in myself when I was like, cool. I was like, I'm really finally starting to understand how this liquidity stuff works, and why institutions do what they do. Now, if I can only understand crypto a little bit better, and that's a different game that we're not going to talk about today. But that was Forex, the Forex pairs that I got for you, and I think what's going to happen. So thank you very much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. Again, my name is Ted. I do this thing called Bodies and Wicks. I try to come out with the videos as much as possible. At least, weekly. I'll do a couple of weekly. I'll do forecasts, something like that. I'm going to try to come out with them more daily. You can find me on Telegram. That's Tedzily. You can find me on TradingView as Tedzily. You can find me on Twitter as Bodies and Wicks, or Bodies and Wicks on Twitter. I'll post my ideas that I do on TradingView, and I'll link them to Twitter, so you'll get some of my ideas that I post. To come through my Twitter. You would have got that one about my gold one, on Twitter. So follow my Twitter if you want. That'd be great. Or you can also follow me here too. You can just subscribe. But the better that you have access to me, I think the more that you have different information that you can use regarding your trading game. I'm not sitting there saying I'm a trading guru. I'm not going to claim any of that, 'cause I'm definitely not. But I do think I bring something to the table that people don't really think about, that they should think about a little bit more often, right? So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'm sorry this is taking an hour and a half. I hope you didn't have to suffer through all that, but I'll see you guys soon, okay? Hey guys, just wanted to give a quick update. I'm sure you wanted to know what happened with Bitcoin since I just made that random buy. And that's what happened. Check it out. I got about 70 pips and just decided to scalp it. And like I said, 0.01, nothing big, but it was a random, it wasn't a thought out plan. Just said, hey, I thought it was a good time to buy. So I give you guys an update that it worked, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.